Fake news. My friend, you lost a bet. My friend, Panathinaikos.
Where is Ritis, my friend? Where is Ritis? BasketNews, where is Ritis?
Where is your voice, Gitis?
Oh, my voice is gone. I apologize. I hope are we rolling? Okay, I apologize right away for my voice. I just left it in Berlin. How are you guys on 2 hours of sleep? We just came back and straight to the studio.
Man. Stop complaining. We're coming from Berlin, from the Final Four.
Who's complaining? You're complaining now. You're
had
a grumpy man.
Sleep. Nobody had
because
a quality sleep.
Because Panathinaikos won, now you're
this
grumpy.
This guy is making so much noise about his voice, about lack of sleep. And how hard it is. I mean, come on now. Everybody's on the same boat, I would say. Ask Panathinaikos players about the sleep. Ask about anybody from Berlin, from Athens, anybody about the sleep. We were enjoying some great celebration over there. And that's the outcome that we have to deal with. And it's nothing. It's really nothing.
Nothing. Let's celebrate.
Low key, both of you were in the Panathinaikos sector chanting with them, seeing your voices, really.
I mean, I was vibing. I wasn't chanting. I don't know, but I really love that. Voodoo. It's like, it gives me some chills. Like, I always appreciate when fans make this fucking...
I haven't noticed this chant before this season, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've just noticed it in Waka during Panathinaikos home games. So, of course, Panathinaikos fans will correct us for sure in the comment section, but it felt like it was one of their newest chants, and it was amazing.
Something to do with the title,
I have to be
right?
honest, our entire BasketNews crew, after the game, we were like just going in Berlin streets in taxi as well, like voodoo, and then whatever the lyrics are, we created our own.
I was sleeping for like 2 hours, but it felt like during those 2 hours I was hearing the songs in my head. I don't know, like that was
I think
some
you
crazy
have some
atmosphere.
Championship confetti on your face actually from the gym.
What the fuck, man?
That's some stuff, really.
Wow. No, the atmosphere was just amazing, really, yesterday.
What a weekend, but at the same time, only because of these teams and their fans. Like, that's what I'm going to say. Like,
let's start from positives. Man.
Positives, yeah.
Let's talk about positives. There were
first.
enough negatives on our Saturday podcast.
Oh my God. That's true.
For sure, we're going to address some of the negatives
maybe,
as well.
Maybe even not. Like, but yeah.
Yeah, but let's start with positives. I feel bad that we're not wearing. Okay, you have some.
I found something in our.
But 6-star.
wardrobe.
Only 6-star.
Yeah, we need to update
stuff.
Update this. Update the logo here. Yeah.
I think we might have some ideas how to update this logo on our shop.basketnews.com.
Yeah.
Am I right with this one?
Yeah,
you are.
There's a lot of good stuff on BasketNews shop, and the funny thing is that it's kind of a problem, but it's not even a problem. We would love to wear these, famous fists, especially in green. That's what I love. That's what I've seen in streets of Berlin. But the problem is that we just sold out everything.
Yeah, we miscalculated, I guess.
We had BasketNews Terrace on the corner of Uber Arena, and we just sold it out, and that's it. We don't even have what to do. We're on the podcast.
Hey, shout out to everyone who came out and then said something to us, took a photo, said your bet is going to lose. Yeah, a lot of people actually thought the other guy is Rytis, while Rytis was actually in Lithuania commentating games. That's why he wasn't there.
The funny thing is that the other guy was also Rytis, just not that Rytis who became a meme on the podcast.
You don't know how many guys came up to me and said, "Where is Maccabi? 3-2. Where is Maccabi?" And I'm like, I'm not Rytis. I'm Gytis. It's a different guy.
But you know what I
loved?
loved?
Everyone was looking for Rytis, and I kept saying, he's hiding in Lithuania,
But I loved the trash talk. I love the trash talk because it was friendly. It was like a friendly banter. That's what I love. We need to keep this up, and shout out to everyone who came to see us.
A lot of support as well. Like I didn't expect so much nice, encouraging words that are really just making us sit here with 2 hours of sleep and not complain about anything, and do what we do, because it's crazy to hear it all in person. You read a lot of maybe bad comments in our section, in the comment section, but in real life, incredible.
Yeah, and we're taking all the responsibility. We were wrong. We were wrong with our predictions with Panathinaikos during the regular season. Some had wrong predictions in the quarterfinals. Some didn't see them winning the Final Four. So we're taking all the responsibility. We're taking all the trash talk because that's what we deserved. But just to add, only positive. Not the feedbacks, positive, interactions with Panathinaikos fans, and now for sure we owe them a visit to Aka, because that's the second most popular slogan, Veres Rytis and come to Aka. So we will come to Aka next season to do some great content about Panathinaikos team, the championship team that deserves some really good quality content.
Let's talk about the game or
about the man, Ergin Ataman.
I thought that there was also another man.
And there's many
Kostas
men,
Sloukas.
many men in that story that we need to sing about here.
And I agree that it's one of the craziest EuroLeague basketball stories in the history of the competition, because we have a team that jumped from the 17th seed last season to a title contender, to a playoff team, and then won the EuroLeague title. We have the team with how many new players you've said?
I think 11.
Yeah, 11 new players. Head coach, a lot of changes.
It's actually, I don't know if that has ever happened. You completely built a new team since the scratch.
For sure, that didn't happen. And as I think Matthias Lessort told, it's probably not going to happen in the future. It's hard to predict anything because this is a crazy competition, but he has his point. It's a really rare thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just to vibe so quickly and so... To hit basically, all the players, okay, some of them were playing less than you expected, but you can't fit all 11 guys into one team and expect everyone to be great. But the 8-man rotation they had was just incredible. Everybody had their moments. It was not only Sloukas, Kendrick Nunn, Matthias Lessort, like Papa Petru
Luka
stepped
Vildoza,
up. Luka Vildoza.
The guy didn't play from game 4 of the playoffs, I think.
Yeah.
He showed up. Okay, I think he scored 3 points, but first of all, it was a very important 3-pointer, and he also was a part of the team that changed the dynamics of the game and kind of,
his plus minus
came back.
His plus minus is 12 in 13 minutes.
Third best.
Amazing.
On his team.
Crazy.
Jermaine Grant, probably a lot of other guys are the main storylines. He is like the guy that I would say is a silent killer because he dominates on defense. And he had 2 great offensive performances in this Final Four. First in the semifinal, and then yesterday he got those silent points, made big shots, played great defense, forced unsportsmanlike foul on Janan Musa. When Real Madrid risked against him going under, he hit those threes. Basically, he was there. He was answering any type of defense they were playing against him. And just showing that, he's not only a one-sided player. And when all the attention is on the other guys, Jermaine Grant can punish you. And he was a huge part for this weekend. To me, was just,
And this season in general, the most underrated signing for sure. Nobody could have predicted and could have seen. Of course.
I mean, you could have seen. I remember we were saying, he will be super important because like Sloukas, when Kendrick Nunn wasn't.
He will play an important role.
Yeah, Kendrick Nunn wasn't even in the picture, so he was supposed to be the guy that will defend the other team's best player, and he will be an important part. But I don't think anybody expected him to have such an offensive role in the biggest games of the season.
Yeah, I agree.
Who's next up on the list?
First of all, Kostas Sloukas.
Yeah.
Okay.
MVP. 24 points. I remember my words before the final. I've said, I did the research actually for the podcast for the Final Four, but I didn't mention these stats. His scoring average for the Final Four was 8 points. I mean, he's the record holder in these Final Four appearances, 10, 11, or 12. It doesn't matter. But he never had a game, a Final Four game. Kostas Sloukas owned this Final Four. It never happened before. This Final Four comes. He had a difficult semifinal game. This final comes. The guy who just changed the side of the rivals, left the team, Olympiacos, last offseason, made this really difficult decision.
After losing the final against Real Madrid.
And after missing the last shot.
Yeah.
1 year later, after all these changes, after all these doubts, we were questioning.
After being written off by some, and also because of his age, and also being criticized because of, well, not him specifically, but the team being criticized for signing such a old player.
He was criticized as well by the fans. For switching sides and for the arguments that he had by switching sides. Some of his former teammates also were questioning this move a lot. We were questioning the value of this contract. It felt it was huge, and the guy is coming, scoring 24 points, taking this Final Four MVP title, hitting this important three. Panathinaikos was up by 2 when Sergio Yui made this very important three-pointer, and it was close to change the momentum of the game. Kostas Sloukas comes, hits a very long-range shot,
and contested. It was a difficult shot, and it was probably not just 1 meter away from the three-pointer, but maybe 2 meters away from there, with a hand in his face.
Couple possessions away, he hits another three-pointer and he basically kills Real Madrid and wins the title for his team. I mean, just to rephrase him, can you imagine? Can you see a better story than that? It's really hard. I'm putting it in a same shelf. None better.
None better.
I'm putting it in the same shelf as Vasilis Spanoulis' move. And this is the historical legacy that Kostas Sloukas will leave with this Final Four performance and with this championship move.
Just to add to your point about that shot that you just talked about, the momentum was in Panathinaikos' hands. Just Mateo goes to zone defense. That actually helped them win the title last year against Olympiacos. So Sloukas actually saw this zone last year already. They cut the lead. It seems like the inertia of the match is going back to Real Madrid. And it is the third possession with no movement absolutely. Like PAO seemed like Ergin Ataman doesn't really have an answer for that zone defense. But sometimes when you don't need a set play or a fancy, beautiful design play when you have Kostas Sloukas. The third possession is stuck. He has the ball in his hands. He sees Campazzo, smaller guy next to him, just rises up, shoots, makes the shot, and it was like, okay, this is the dagger. When you are like trying to get back in the game, and this is a shot basically against the logic because it was not a great possession, but Sloukas just, has that. I don't know, people around me, the PAO fans were saying just, cojones. And I don't know, I'm super happy for Kostas Sloukas because last summer, I was one of the few people that actually defended this move. I said that he's worth the $3 million. I said that this is the move that is going to bring PAO back to the Final Four. Even I did not expect them to win immediately, but I just see this guy as a winner, big-time clutch performer, and it feels good to me that he actually wanted to do something different, wanting to do something unpopular by going to the biggest rival, by not being happy with his position, and that's a normal thing. You're not happy, you go to somewhere else, and you do great things there. That's what he did, and I'm super happy for him.
But we have to acknowledge that it is a three-headed monster, Panathinaikos. We got 2 other guys that also were, I think, crucial. And they were talked about before the game as probably the guys that are going to decide this, whether Panathinaikos wins or not. It's Keenan Evans and Lessort. I feel like those 2 guys, also stories that you can, look back at. Lessort last season was dominating for Partizan, one of the best fan bases in Europe. On top of the world, almost made it to the Final Four. Then what happened with Real, sort of a revenge story now, goes to PAO. Again, one of the greatest fan bases in Europe, but this time just a different result against Real Madrid, also dominating the whole season.
Yeah, he got his own revenge. I didn't think about that. He got his own revenge.
And
his post-game.
Oh, yeah. No, I feel like he was the MVP of the post-game speeches. I don't know if he was doing an impression of Ergin Ataman or something, but so many funny videos with him. Also him saying
Molaitis, Samodurov, Drigo.
And
no, but I love that one when he's like,
I'm gonna get
who
lit.
is not a Euro Cup sender? Who is not a Euro Cup sender now? Who is not EuroLeague sender material now? And you're like, where are these people now? Like, I proved it. I belong here. And the tweet after, legendary. You didn't see that?
I missed it maybe.
About, I'm going to...
You don't even know how drunk I'm going to be this night. That was just...
I think Marius Grigonis also said, I'm going to do something bad to my health, like the worst things to my health.
Let's fuck up our health until the very low.
And Kendrick Nunn comes over in the middle, already when the season began. First season usually takes time to adjust for these guys coming straight from the US.
It took some time, but only like 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, of course he's in a great team. He wasn't just doing this on his own, but I mean the way he took over from, let's say, third or second game of the playoffs and just kept going with that hot streak for throughout the whole playoffs and the Final Four. I mean, if Sloukas had a few worse games, you could argue between now Lessort and Nunn, which is crazy to think about for a EuroLeague rookie.
Yeah, the thing about Nunn is that he was actually so good, and we got used to him being so good that, scoring 21 points in the final, it felt like it was a regular game by Kendrick Nunn. And I think it tells a lot about how the guy adjusted and how he kind of, showed us that he's one of the best scorers for sure, if not the best scorer. But the thing about Matthias Lessort, what's special it is that, okay, sometimes it's Sloukas' magic, sometimes it's Nunn's greatness, but you can count on Matthias Lessort every freaking game. He will give you 15, 16, 17 points, something close to 10 rebounds. This hustle, this energy, he's changing the game with his energy, his physicality. Although, I have to tell you, at one point I thought that Vincent Poirier got his revenge in the final, but Lessort recovered, and I think that was the first time that Panathinaikos got the lead, and Lessort just started punching Poirier and just Real Madrid's front line like a punching bag in the second quarter, and he showed this sign.
Second quarter he was eating. Second quarter he was
eating everything, and it was also super important for them to come back. So it was another very important moment for Matthias Lessort. Let's not forget that this championship puzzle of Panathinaikos started from the Matthias Lessort figure. I remember I had this interview with Sane Bečirović, who told that we were like going after guys one by one, and the first major part of the puzzle, the piece of this puzzle, was Matthias Lessort signing. Then we thought that Kostas Sloukas would fit him very well. Then the others, followed. So amazing season by Matthias Lessort and his rise in the last 2 seasons.
I just thought, how this game went, basically. And we are talking about, different guys one by one. And I just thought, first quarter, it was super important. Basically, Real Madrid first quarter played like an NBA team.
Unstoppable.
Can't miss. It was like so beautiful offense. The same as Olympiacos, but the difference was that Olympiacos didn't have the offense to respond. And despite scoring 36, PAO had 25 or 26 as well.
I think, 10-point difference.
So they stayed in the game. They stayed afloat. And then second quarter comes. That's where Matthias Lessort gets 9 points. In the third quarter, it's kind of like everybody chips in. Nunn, Sloukas a little bit. Everybody scores a little bit. But it was a low-scoring quarter. And then it was Kostas Sloukas taking over. And in the end, Kendrick Nunn, exclamation point, 2 mid-range jump shots, I think a 3-pointer, and that insane dunk. To be honest, that was like, take that, Yabusele.
It's like, put that on the poster, yeah. Also, another man we haven't talked about enough, I feel like, is Ergin Ataman. We need to also appreciate his in-game adjustments, I think. Maybe Augustus can speak to that a bit more. He tried the small ball, which I thought worked in the second half a little bit better than in the first.
Yeah.
That really, I think, also gave them an advantage, and they went for a run when they were playing without Lessort even.
For sure. I would say Ergin Ataman definitely outplayed. Ergin Ataman and his coaching staff definitely outplayed Chus Mateo and his coaching staff. I thought Mateo played the veterans too much, to be honest. I really felt Džanan Musa should have been there earlier. I think, I don't know why Sergio Yui was handing the ball. So I know they have won so many titles for Real Madrid, but Džanan Musa is a better player, had a great start to the game. And, at the same time, I think Ataman's defense forced Real Madrid to fall in love with the 3-pointers way too much. And I looked up the stats. First quarter, when Madrid scored 36 points, they had 11 attempts from 2 and only 6 3-pointers. Great shooting percentages. They shot only 18 2-pointers in the next 3 quarters, and they tried 30 from 3.
In the third quarter, they missed all 11. And at some point until the middle of the fourth quarter, I think before this Sergio Lluís 3-pointer that closed the gap to 2, they missed 11 in a row. And their offense was just too primitive. You know, they were just shooting the ball, not moving the ball at all. And I think that's very good wording to describe. You know, they fell in love too much with 3-point shoots.
I talked with our Greek friend, Chris, after the game. And I said to him, we talked about this comparison. It felt like Real Madrid fell in love so much with the 3. They seemed like Houston Rockets against the Warriors in one of their decisive games where they missed like 20 threes in a row. Real Madrid basically did the same. Like on every closeout situation, Panathinaikos protected the paint at all costs. So there's a closeout situation and Hezoni is checking up 3-pointers, Yabusele, everyone. Nobody is driving. Nobody is even looking to pass for Tavares. This is what Panathinaikos wanted. This is what Ataman wanted. And Real Madrid basically fell into the trap. And that small lineup that you talked about, Gytis, Lessort got his 4th foul, right? So with like 8 minutes remaining, I think, in the game. And Mitsoglu comes in and I'm watching the game and the people around me is like saying to me, damn, like Tavares is going to.
They went right away for Tavares.
Exactly,
in the post.
exactly. But after he made this comment, right after the substitution, I was like, yeah, but watch out for the pick and pop on the other side. It's going to be either really good or really bad. And they stop Real Madrid, and on the other side, Mitsoglu hits that 3-pointer. Next possession, they play the same freaking thing. I think Jerian Grant gets the switch. And I think they score again. So
Mitsoglu, I think he scored 2 crucial 3-pointers in the fourth quarter. So his presence was also super important at that point. So I remember, I think on Saturday's podcast with Chima, we were like analyzing what it has to happen that Panathinaikos will win the game, because if you look at it from the objective perspective, Real Madrid is a better team, more talented team, and let's say Panathinaikos are underdogs. And I think that's what we kind of emphasized. Ergin Ataman and Kostas Sloukas has to be extraordinary good. They both were elite, and there has something to happen with Real Madrid, and that's what happened with these 3-pointers, with them just shooting those bricks and just losing their style, losing their mentality that was so favorable to Panathinaikos. And that's how Panathinaikos title game happened.
That's crazy. A newly built team. It's still hard for me to believe. It's just an amazing story, really.
Yeah, but what Coach Ataman said. First month, new team. Second month, maybe still new team. But after 3 months, you're already a team.
But it's funny to me that the players after the game are saying, yo, this guy in the first practice tells we're winning the title this year. We don't believe this bullshit. And then after, 9 months, 10 months, here you are, the European champions.
But Marius Grigonis still doesn't understand how it happened, actually. And he's open about it.
Yeah. Fantastic quote, by the way. I don't understand how my coach works, but we are the champions, so I'm too stupid to understand him.
Yeah.
But we win, so I don't care.
But he keeps winning it. Yeah, he keeps winning it. It's just Ataman's magic. You cannot explain it in other words. He's doing a good thing. He's not over trying in terms of not pushing his players too hard. He relies on his talent that he has. He relies on his players, and
doesn't overload them with information. He doesn't, make them play in a strict
or whatever
frame. Yeah, it's all up to you guys to utilize what you have, your talent, because you have so much talent, like the talent he has in that team. You just let them play. You have some things running, but that's enough. Like that's enough. And you occasionally make a very good adjustment in the game, and you got the EuroLeague title 3 times.
And you just can't ignore the fact that basically, okay, they had a lot of money invested last summer.
Yeah.
You just can't ignore that.
That's the truth. They're top 5 in net salaries.
But
in the same top 5, there's Milan and there's Efes.
Exactly.
For instance, as an example.
So there are a lot of teams, a lot of GMs in Europe that did a way worse job. And this guy is hitting the right players, the right spots every freaking summer. And, you know, just shows over and over again. Before the coaching, there is the team selection part. And he's excellent in that. And then after... You know, it just happens. The magic happens.
And we'll see now in this summer as well. Now you see some players that maybe didn't work out as good as they could have with the price that they were, you know, costing them.
Yeah.
If you improve those weaker spots, you know, I mean, this team is the favorites to win next year if they make the right moves. I mean, even if they don't make any moves, they're gonna be, you know, in that conversation. You know that third place game that you guys were watching in the arena? I was actually outside just talking with the fans, but then I was like, wait a second, the LKL is on. Let me see how Žalgiris is doing against Lietkabelis.
It was a close game, by the way.
Yeah, and I go in and it's like, oh, you cannot watch this from your location. Good thing we got our friends NordVPN, where I was able to just change my location to Lithuania, join Lithuanian server, and watch the game, which ended, unfortunately, we'll talk about it later, but like...
High quality, just no changes.
The speed doesn't change, you still get the picture, but that's just one of the things. Like with NordVPN, just access everything you can to do everything you can. Can I speak like Ergin Ataman? Everything to access to you can to in home country. It just adds a lot of to where it doesn't have to. But
actually, if I'm visiting Turkey, NordVPN is also one of my most used apps because they have all kinds of restrictions. And I believe that in the entire world, there are some places that you cannot watch the EuroLeague TV, for instance, NBA app if you have. A lot of different needs that we have, and NordVPN helps to, at least on your computer, make it like home, to access the entire content that you need.
And also,
And if you're traveling, to me, the biggest thing is just simply security.
Exactly.
I was going to say,
so many internet networks, Wi-Fi networks are there. You work from cafes, you work from, I don't know.
Even in the arena,
in the arena,
yeah.
It's like 150 of different of those. And, you know, I don't feel safe, but, you know, you use NordVPN, you're secure, you are okay with browsing online. Those ads don't look that suspicious, you know. When you are on other networks without NordVPN, you don't want to do that, so use NordVPN.
They can also help you save money. If you change your location to some places like Argentina, for instance, there are some other
we
locations.
know those.
You already know the countries, huh?
Yeah, there are some subscriptions, memberships, and whatever that are a little bit cheaper in these destinations. So that also might help you to get something for a smaller price, including hotel bookings, car rentals, plane tickets, and a lot of other different things. And actually, we have also one suggestion how to save money with our link, nordvpn.com/basketnews. You get 4 additional months with a 2-year plan. So NordVPN.
Link in the description.
I'm really interested, you know, to see what happens with Kendrick Nunn. So he signed an extension, but there is an NBA out. And
that's a crucial part. If he stays, the core is set, all good. These moving pieces, these are, let's say, replaceable players where you don't need those places. You don't need to fill these places, these gaps with some star players. You have to find good role players, good players that can play their minutes, and just to be assets of these star players that they have, because they have a championship core, and all is good with these guys.
Yep.
So future is bright for this Panathinaikos team. Of course, by the way, the fun fact, another, let's say, when I was thinking about this victory, about they jump from the 17th seed, changing a lot of players, new coach, usually it's not a championship formula. It goes opposite. And one of the funniest facts and one of the interesting facts is that Kostas Sloukas is the second oldest Final Four MVP. He won the MVP at 34. Something we also emphasized, that you cannot give this 3-year crazy contract to a 34-year player. No, it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter. Sloukas proved it. The older guy who got the MVP award in the Final Four was Andres Nocioni in 2015 when he won it for Real Madrid. But sorry, Andres, I think that Sloukas' impact in this title run was bigger. And when I checked the other guys, there were Spanulis, Trajan Langdon, somebody else, but these guys were like 31, 30, and below. So another interesting milestone by Kostas Sloukas.
And for Sloukas, I think he's the second player in history.
Ooh,
there we go.
Nice.
Somebody calling. Second player in history to win the EuroLeague championship with 4 different teams.
And Ergin Ataman won 3 last EuroLeague finals.
3 out of 4.
Panathinaikos won 7
out of 7.
Except
finals. If you don't count, like it's the Super League, whatever.
No, we don't count that.
Yeah, so that's the only thing. Yeah.
And I wanted to ask this question. Actually, I had this question for my friend.
Maybe mute your computer.
I did.
Augustus. Maybe block the callers. I don't know.
Like you blocked this Twitter account before. Okay, so the second interesting thing is that I wanted to actually address this question in the press conference, but I couldn't. Ergin Ataman won his 3rd EuroLeague title. He's coaching for 25 years, and I've checked that in the modern EuroLeague history, there's only Željko Obradović with 4 or 5, Ettore Messina with 3, and there is Ataman. And this is it. The list of top 3 coaches is
what
done.
What are you talking about? 4 or 5 what?
EuroLeague titles.
Željko has like coaches. 9, no?
Before 2000.
Oh, you're talking about modern.
I'm talking about only about modern EuroLeague era. So
Ergin is the GOAT? Is that where
that's what Chima said?
Yeah.
In the corridor, that's what
Giannis said.
Yeah,
Giannis said that.
Who we are to question him? We are no longer questioning him.
I mean, facts speak for themselves.
Exactly.
7 stars.
Facts, results, numbers, prove it.
Hey, Kostas Sloukas is a 4-time champion with 3 different teams.
That's what I said. Yeah.
This whole phone call
you just I don't know how.
Sorry, I said 4 different teams, but you're actually correct.
3
different teams.
4 titles with 3 teams.
Yeah. Caught the boy Sharas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the other guy who has that achievement.
Last Final Four impressions?
Well, I just want to say I feel like the fans really made... Well, we were saying the same thing last year, but it was just Olympiacos fans there. That the fans made the Final Four what it was. They made it an incredible experience. Up until yesterday, okay, we had some incidents, obviously, with the first was the Ergin Ataman. You remember all these incidents that happened. So maybe there is some, drawbacks to the fan culture. And I mean, not everyone all the people I spoke to were really nice. There's some outliers who like to, do the things that I don't understand. Why would they do? But otherwise, fans were the MVP for me of the Final Four, because without them, if you imagine this Final Four without the fans, I think it would have been a horrible experience. And that's coming from a content creator perspective. I feel like without the fans, and if the teams were different, without these fan bases, I mean, it'd be one of the most boring events I've attended, because it was...
It's not about being boring. It's about being pretty not well organized.
Low quality, man. Just that.
Yeah.
The final game.
Yeah, a lot of aspects. We can break it down, but I feel like you spoke about a lot of things with Chima already. But just like no adjustments for the final is what I really wanted to say this. No adjustments. So the announcer is the same.
Zonga remain the
still
same.
there. Jump ball situation, intentional foul is there. The break dancers for the intro is there. Where's like hype us up, hype up the crowd.
Just
like, do something.
Know your
simple.
Crowd.
Know your crowd. Understand what you're doing.
Your crowd. You don't need to put all the sound, up during the timeout just to, give some t-shirts.
That's what my...
Enjoy the atmosphere. Enjoy the atmosphere. Let the fans celebrate. Do something, say something as an announcer. Feel your crowd. I mean,
can I just say, one of the fans came up to me after 2 quarters and he said, these fucking guys are killing our rhythm,
Exactly.
We're trying to get going, and then they start blasting off some Nicki Minaj random music like that, like it's unnecessary. Just live in that moment and understand what's happening, and then make your decisions based on that. Don't just, whatever you prepared before, go with the script, because that's... it's just not like you said, not understanding the crowd, not understanding the occasion.
Not respecting the crowd, not trying to understand their crowds. I mean, when you have 3 big fan bases, you have to use the opportunity, and you have to be familiar with them to do something. You mentioned those mascots, anthems before the game, or just putting some music that would, spark this team if it's on a good run.
Instead of playing highlights of Fenerbahce and Monaco.
I was not shocked because I got used to these mistakes, let's call it this way, but we're like 5 minutes away from the second half. They did this halftime show with music and yada yada. And
singing cover songs of famous like 2012 songs. Yeah. Who cares about this?
And there's this feature, EuroLeague TV feature story about Fenerbahce after Monaco series during the halftime of the final game between Panathinaikos and Real Madrid. So I was like, okay, nothing is going to surprise me anymore. So I'm cool. I'm cool with
nothing really, guys. I'm just sitting here, waiting for you to say something about the end of game situation, and
we already
addressed. 0.2. No. Wait.
Oh,
2 seconds. 2 seconds.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
When you said situation, I thought you were talking about the announcer, because everything is a situation for her. But I know what you mean.
Basically, the shot clock expires. There is still a couple of seconds left in the game, and everybody just storms the court. Players celebrating already because nobody's playing anymore. The podium is already there, and the ref is like... like a PE teacher in the class when nobody is listening to him for like 1 minute, and he finally then, after like 6 whistles, somebody finally hears him and he's like, let's finish this game. And everybody, I saw our chat, we talked about this after. Guys,
what game is already finished? Come on, just let it go.
I actually thought they're going to go to the camera and one more time, for one last time this season, do that. Hey, I need master camera, man. Frame by frame,
game clock.
1.9 or 2.0 seconds remaining.
Yeah. So but it wasn't as tragic as what happened in Kaunas yesterday. Wanna segue into that?
Let me finish one thing. We're complaining, as some boomers, we're complaining, we're criticizing the EuroLeague, and I believe that there will be a lot of, let's say, unhappy people in the organization, but just understand one thing. You got Scottie Pippen in the house, you had Giannis, you had a lot of guests from the NBA, and what we're trying, to play during the season, we're better than the NBA. Our product is much more, exciting, entertaining. It's much better. EuroLeague is way better than NBA. You bring these people up, and the question I would ask yourself, that's my suggestion. Are you happy with the product that you showed to these guests? Do you think that it represented the EuroLeague basketball product at its best? Do you really think that way?
I would just say
it was just too far away from what EuroLeague has and has to offer, and so much potential that we have was not showed during the Final Four.
Yeah. I was just going to repeat myself, but take away the fans and then look at what you did there. Like, evaluate what you did there. Don't think about how fun it was with the fans in the arena. Take that away and then then think about what Giannis had to see, what other guys had to see.
And the players of the final, because we had a pretty decent final in terms of drama, of the stories, great performances.
Great final with a comeback. I mean,
this, let's say, final day of the tournament really exciting. But other than that, it's super concerning, and we must do radical changes the way we understand the Final Four. If it's our season finale that we're so freaking proud of, let's do it the right way.
Yeah.
So hopefully next year.
One last thing to wrap it up. 15 seconds. So apparently EuroLeague Twitter 10 minutes ago just posted, Ergin Ataman's son said yesterday, Real Madrid is the best team. They are from space, but we are from galaxy. Like father, like son.
Okay.
Amazing. Wow. Just amazing.
Wow.
I mean, okay, I don't want to go into the logic of the statement. They're from space, we are from galaxy.
You don't need to go into the logic, man.
Okay.
Come on. Just like Grigoni said.
We
are too stupid to understand.
And the third place game was amazing, of course. We weren't watching it basically, but what happened during the third place game was this little tragedy that I would call, and what is interesting, because of the timing reasons, it was connected to Olympiacos, and it felt like Olympiacos lost twice during the Final Four. Keenan Evans suffered what looks like a really serious injury. We still don't have a final medical check results from Žalgiris. It should be out soon, probably. But there are a lot of fears that it's a pretty serious injury. From what I heard, in English, it would sound like patellar tendon tear. And this is really dangerous injury, and which takes a long rehab. And there is actually quite well-known example of this injury. Alan Williams had the same injury. He was out for 1 year, and then he returned. Let's say for half of the year, he didn't feel himself. So we were kind of happy, it was not the same leg, not the same Achilles or whatever. But the problem is that, this injury is also super, super difficult. And I know that Keenan Evans was ahead of the timeline set by doctors, even dealing with the Achilles injury. He came back somehow even stronger, better, proved himself on the top level. So I hope that Keenan has something in his body that helps him to recover faster and to recover into his, let's say, previous form and shape. But this is really concerning because this is one of the, he's really good guy, great guy, amazing player. He was rising again. Why me? That was the best. Why me? The best.
It just hurts. It hurts.
Called by Keenan. Yeah, so it just feels bad for Keenan, first of all. And then, of course, you feel bad for Olympiacos, who thought that he's going to solve all the problems the next year. And now what?
And what we said, we were waiting in the airport. I don't remember who said this, but it's not like one of those guys who's always having minor injuries, and that is a risky guy to have because he might miss out on a lot of games. No, he was healthy throughout the whole season. He was healthy in the beginning of last season, pops his Achilles, and then out for a year. This season plays the whole season amazingly, top 3 scoring, I think, in the EuroLeague, or in the top 5 at least. And now this in the LKL, the Lithuanian league, where you probably, if you knew, obviously you wouldn't have played him. But yeah, like this is so unlucky. Like this, why me? It comes from a very reasonable place, because he's not a guy to get injured, but when he does, he gets it the most major way. It's insane.
Yeah, I don't know. Felt like somebody from my family got injured. Really, I don't know. That why me especially is like such a good guy, such a great player, and just it was like the third place game didn't really matter at all. But after that, it was like, yeah.
Because we were talking about Keenan Evans as their really what they needed in their guard rotation, like a guy who can score.
We talked about it with Chima on Saturday.
You just spoke about it, yeah. And now, does it mean that he doesn't sign with Olympiacos, essentially?
That's probably... it depends on what kind of agreement it was. if first of all, if it was a verbal agreement, some kind of a pre-contract, or let's say contract that was signed, that was legal, let's say, when he was still playing for Žalgiris, because there are a lot of different scenarios. In some cases, FIBA is doing all this. How is it called? Draudimas. Insurance, yeah. FIBA is covering the insurance part, which is important for the player as well, especially for the player, because there is a chance that he just remains without the contract and he's injured, and who knows when he's going to be able to play. Let's say in the best case scenario, in 6 months, just before the Christmas. In the worst case scenario, he might be out until like April, until May. We're talking about the entire season. Yeah. And the guy who was supposed to earn close to $4 million in 2 years, he might be like
a life-changing amount of money.
Fuck.
And now, like you also said, after this injury, he's gonna be looked at in a different way, And you don't know how he's gonna come back from that injury.
Yeah.
You saw how great he came back from Achilles. But you just spoke about this specific injury that someone else had. Don't know the player.
Alan Williams, yeah. Great big man. Yeah.
So if second injury like that, it might be a great comeback story, and we hope for that, but you never know. And the teams are going to be looking at him differently. I mean, I said, so now Žalgiris can extend him, but obviously a dark joke. But
situation where you can and you're able to extend the player, You're not waiting for him to get injured.
He's not, and he's also, if you sign Keenan...
Of course, ironically, if he hadn't suffered this injury last year, he also would have left Žalgiris in summer. So he basically stayed because just of this injury. So right now, I mean, I'm really intrigued to see what will happen if, let's say, Olympiacos will, not respect the agreement that they had. It depends on the agreement that they had. But if they're going to take him to the team, let him rehab over there, but secure him under the contract, or they will just say that, okay, this was not a real contract, not a real deal yet. Sorry, but that's life. What Žalgiris will do if they're going to pay him a lot for the next season, just basically be a rehab clinic for him and to expect him to come earlier. I mean, it's very interesting situation from a lot of standpoints.
And you know why it hurts even more? Because we talk about the EuroLeague as this aging league. We having less and less young players because obviously the NBA takes all these young guys from Europe, also all the young guys that can play in the NBA. Right now, we look at the top players. Keenan Evans is like 26-year-old, I believe, or 27-year-old, or 28. Well, turning 28 this year. Anyways, the only guy who's on the up, and he's like gonna be out. And now we have all the other guys are already 30-year-olds. I mean, maybe Marcus Howard, you could say, is the only other example. But what this means is we're gonna miss a player for the next season who's a young
future of the EuroLeague, future EuroLeague superstar.
So that's why it hurts even more. That's great. But anyways, let's go celebrate in our beds, or I don't know.
Depends on how do you imagine celebration in your bed, But let's go to have some sleep or rest.
Yeah.
Not everyone can sleep.
And for the final time, ole, ole, ole. Ole, ole, ole.
Voodoo, voodoo.
Okay, let's do different ones. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for watching. EuroLeague season is over. It was a pleasure to be with you. It was a pleasure to read your comments, to hear your feedback.
And here comes Rytis out of the closet. Oh, no, Rytis is... Hopefully he'll come down here at some point.
Yeah, Rytis is obviously sending you best wishes. Thanks a lot. Press like button, subscribe our channel, be together with us, join Beyond Plus community. And I wouldn't say see you next season, but because the new season is starting, the free agency season is starting. So see you pretty soon.